Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Eriko. I work in Regulatory Support Office with Resija Nambia to provide clinicaltrial.gov support to research community. So I want to give a quick recap from previous talk in Research Matters. So in January, I talked about what ct.gov is. So ct.gov is the largest clinical trial registry and result database run by NIH, where investigators can disclose key information of their clinical trial. So today I just want to give you a different perspective. So this morning when I checked the public website, there has been over 5,000 COVID-related clinical trial registered on ct.gov. So it was about 2,500 last year around this time. So it has been double in 1 year. So ct.gov is a free to register and free to access all of these like 370,000 records. And ct.gov is a rich resource for investigator as it allows prior access to clinical trial results before journal publication. So you can use this website to recruit subjects and give a unique opportunity to do a secondary analysis because results of these trials are available. So you can do meta-analysis, meta-regression using data that are available in the public website. Then I talk about why do we have to do the ct.gov reporting. And then again, many agencies and organizations are requiring ct.gov reporting. And last research matter, I talked about which studies needs to be registered. And I went over the flowchart, which helps you to determine whether ct.gov reporting is required or not for your study. So this month, I want to review the timeline for ct.gov registration updates and results reporting. So first, registration. So as you can see, most of the agencies are requiring trial registration on ct.gov within 21 days of first participant's enrollment. So the critical distinction is that for publication in the ICMJ e-journals, the trial needs to be registered before enrollment of the first participant. Otherwise, investigator cannot publish in the journal. So we actually have received several emails from UT Southwestern investigators asking why their manuscript were rejected. Even they were following timeline, which is 21 days of enrollment per federal regulation and NIH policy, and PI even did the results posting on time. That's because they did not register the trial before the first participant's enrollment. Their manuscript was actually rejected. So it did not go to peer review. So this is the email investigator received from the editor at New England Journal of Medicine in response to a manuscript submission. So this is true tragedy for PI who spent years to receive the grant and years to complete the trial and not being able to publish their important life work on some of the best journal. So we definitely do not want this to happen to our investigators. So this is something PI needs to be made aware of if they have not already. So for this reason, at UT Southwestern, ct.gov trials must be registered at the time of EIRB study submission. We want to ensure that registration is done prior to participants' enrollment. So now the timeline for results reporting. So results posting must be done within 12 months of primary completion date. So again, so primary completion date is the date of the last study visit where data was collected for the primary outcome. So that's when 12 months clock starts for the deadline to do the results posting. So whatever day it is, your results are due within 1 year from that day. So primary completion date is your time clock. So as soon as you finish collecting data for primary outcome from the last subject, you need to remember to log into ct.gov and then provide actual primary completion date and mark your calendar and give yourself enough time to work on the results reporting. Remember, as I mentioned previously, results reporting may take up to 50 hours. So here's the consequences and penalties for late registration and or results posting. Again, this includes the financial civil penalty. As I mentioned previously, FDA started imposing penalty this year. So many institutions start receiving pre-notice letters. So another big one is NIH. So not only PI loses NIH funding, per NIH director, Dr. Collin, notice of their grant awards on clinical trial will be held up if previously funded record have issued or they have not registered. So NIH is now checking the ct.gov record for the previously funded trial. So if you or your PI have outstanding trial with major issue comments or trial is flagged in the system, and then you probably already have heard from us already, but I suggest PI to get on it immediately and contact our office for a question immediately. And just be aware that when you are submitting your NIH grants, NIH does allow up to 2,000 direct cost for clinical trials reporting efforts. So it is allowable expense and also actually makes your grants more competitive rather than opposite, because NIH can see that you are working hard to stay in compliance with federal regulations. And consequences at UT Southwestern includes SPOT will be holding coverage analysis finalization, and HRPP will be holding ERB study activation, as mentioned previously. So now timeline for the updates. So just like EIRB, registration of the trial is not the end of the story for the investigators. So ct.gov registry requires annual update, just like CR, just like continuing review. And when protocol amendments are being made, so just like modification, investigators have to update the record in ct.gov as well. And these are the timeline for specific data elements within the ct.gov. So, so ct.gov is definitely not, set and forget kind of thing. So this slide will help you and your PI to understand the timing of the ct.gov reporting responsibility. So this shows the EIRB and ct.gov clinical trial timeline from the perspective of the study team and investigator. So I want to emphasize that both are almost exactly in parallel. So you submit, register the study, but just using the different systems. So investigator would submit modification, update the ct.gov record, do the continuing review in EIRB, and do the annual update in the ct.gov. So only difference between EIRB and ct.gov really is that investigator must submit results in ct.gov if it is required. So operationally speaking, this means that every time you do CR modification or even submit the notice of study closure in EIRB, that can trigger your corresponding actions in ct.gov. So this slide summarizes important dates that I just covered so far. So you want to remember to mark your calendar for those dates. So one last important date that I want all of you to be aware of is correction expected date for PRS major comments. So which is basically response due date for ct.gov reviewers stipulations regarding your record, regarding your submission. So when record has some problem, record owner and person who worked on the record worked on the record will be receiving email from ct.gov So don't ignore those emails. Make sure to log in to ct.gov record and click this review comments button. So when you receive stipulation, it will flag your record like this image, and it tells you the correction expected date. So you have 15 calendar days to address major stipulation for registration related record and 25 calendar days for results posting. So it is calendar day, so it includes Saturday and Sunday, and then these dates are set by ct.gov, so not by me. And this is per regulation for applicable clinical trial. So you want to put those due date on your calendars as well. So lastly, so let's quickly review metrics. So according to VEDA non-compliance trial tracker website, UT Southwestern as a whole, our compliance rate proportion was 68.2% in last May. UT Southwestern leadership was obviously very concerned at that time. And with everyone's effort, we made 100% compliance since this year, January. And in March, we were able to keep 100% compliance. So important to note that this 100% compliance is for FDA-regulated applicable clinical trial results only. So it does not include NIH-funded trials that are not applicable clinical trial or trials that are voluntary register. So we created internal metrics. So this shows overall real-time compliance for all UT Southwestern records. So I'm not including, so we manage parkrun records too. So I have not included parkrun records on this data yet. I will. So the blue histogram is the total number of trial that is registered under UT Southwestern account. So green is the number of record with no problem. So whatever the difference between blue and greens are orange and red bars, so those are considered problem records. So orange one is the problem record that are not FDA regulated trial, but has been flagged in the system with some sort of errors, which must be corrected. And the red one is the FDA regulated trial that is subject to federal monetary fines. And so we are down to one trial, and these results are actually currently under ct.gov review. So our goal is this orange and red one to be as low as we can and continue with 100% compliant in non-compliance tracker website. So please note that UT Southwestern leaderships are periodically reviewing this website and non-compliance list, which lists name of the PI. So here are the contact person for ct.gov related issues and selected list of resources for you. So if you have any question, please let us know, email us. Thank you. I'm gonna turn over to Josh.
Thank you, Eriko, and we will wait for some questions to come in while we transition presentations. Just give us one moment. If you do have a question, please feel free to